Rise and shine with global entertainment news, Morning Buzz. I am your host, Bella, ready to kickstart your day with all the fresh news and stories. And right here with me, bring his own spark to the studio is.
Steven,
Let's dive into today's top story from the Vanguard and Guardian. Today's top story from the Vanguard. Children's Day, why it's time for the state to take ownership of the child. Approximately 18.3 million children were out of school as of late 2024, making Nigeria the country with the highest number of out of school children globally. UNEP reports Nigerian out of school population account for 15% of the global total. As of late 2024, approximately Nigerians remain out of school, making it country with the highest number of out of school children in the world. According to UNEP report, this staggering figure represents 15% of the global total of out of school children. Despite the pressing need for educational investment, Nigeria allocates only 7.3% of its national budget to education, significantly below Uni- UNESCO recommended range of 15 to 20%. However, some states such as Enugu, Jigawa, Kano, and Kaduna have made commendable effort by over 26% of their budget to education in 2025, as noted in the UNESCO Global Education Monitoring Report.
it's actually one of the time we come out to celebrate children in their masses. But what actually pains me in this country is that we are low, we are below the actual budget percentage for children by by UNESCO. I think UNICEF reports that um, between 15 to 20% of children are and between to 15 to 20% um, uh, is the budget that is meant to be allocated for education and everything. But
But
here
it
in
was
Nigeria,
only seven.
we have 7.3. It's actually the lowest budget you can ever actually think for education. That's the main reason why we do have, when it comes to educational breakdown in the country, it's very rampant. Some states even take it to their own self to actually increase their own state budget for education. But our federal government really needs to realize that education is the key in this country. If we spend more in education, we alert the future generations to know what to do ahead of themselves. If you check countries like China, Asian countries, European countries, they spend more on education because they know the future of the country is on the hands of the children and the youth. So you get because they are the ones that are going to see more years to come. That's why you see a country like China investing more. I tell you, China invests more than 20% on education. You see children, the secondary school students in China are the one producing all these 3 SIM phones we are seeing everywhere in the country. Just imagine the kind of level of education they already have already. I think that's what we really need to focus. We shouldn't come out and start celebrating Children's Day. I believe the government should come out, drop a speech on how education can actually be reformed in the country.
Oh, that is a good one. Talking about that as well, I feel like Nigerian education now needed an upgrade, that we really need a whole lot of things to done in the educational sector when it comes to that, because many people are just there just to get the certificate and they sat down for get employed and they started working, while they have other things to come out after what they learn to actually manifest a whole lot of things from out of what they have learned. But right now in Nigeria, it feels like it's the opposite of it, and it's really not a good one when it comes to educational sector in Nigeria. Well, moving on. BPO feared death as youth set Kano police station ablaze. Angry youth in Kano local government area of Kano state have gone berserk on day as they set ablaze part of the Kano divisional police station over alleged brutality on one of their own, Abdullahi Musa. The violence was also said to have led to setting ablaze of some vehicle while others were vandalized. Meanwhile, the police in a statement says the divisional police officer DPO was killed during the attack. In a statement yesterday, the Kano Police Command says the incident happened on Sunday evening. According to the police, Abdullahi Musa, a motorcyclist mechanic, was arrested on Sunday evening after several complaints from the public alleging he rode around recklessly, reportedly under the influence of drugs. Meanwhile, in custody, Musa became weak and was rushed to Kano General Hospital where he died the following morning while receiving treatment. Wow.
I think it's actually wrong if this statement is actually true that Abdullahi Musa has been one of the reckless drivers that uses the road with influence of drugs, and this is actually the main reason why he was arrested and taken to the police station. I think the masses and those people that went for this attack, if this report is actually true, I think they don't have any reason to go into the police station and make that attack and destroying properties like that, even killing the DPU is actually very, very wrong. If we give rooms to this kind of retaliation, I tell you, we'll have an unsafe environment for security. We haven't hearing more cases about brutality and insurgency in the north. Having this kind of situation again, I tell you, I don't think anywhere is actually safe in the north at all.
Well, what I'm going to say about that, when it comes to those in the north and the houses, they always fight for themselves, and then to the point that they can actually kill whoever that tends to offend one of them. I'm going to say that because it's happening. You haven't heard of any police brutality in Kano or assaulting any of Hausa indigenous or something like that. It never happened there, but it's always happened when it comes to the south or southeast of Nigeria. And then this thing is one of the things that the security personnel they're always been scared of not to anger them. And then I feel like violence is not always the answer to any situation like this, but I feels like when it comes to the northern people, they are good at retaliating, giving vengeance back to whoever that offend one of them, and it's not supposed to be. Right now, it feels like the government really needs to go into there and then put him into a peaceful mode. Well, let's move on. Anti-Tinubu quotation, not second, unveil candidate party soon. Ahead of the 2027 general election, Northern political leader under the aegis of the National Political Consultative Group, NPCG, North, have agreed to present a single presidential candidate to challenge President Bola Tinubu, the leader who also resolved to unveil a political platform for this purpose, such Nigerian to sanction governor and other elected officials who recently endorsed Tinubu for a second term without prior consultation with their constituents. This resolution were reached at the end of a meeting held by the group Sunday evening in Abuja. Those present at the meeting include former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami, and former Minister of Transportation Mr. Rotimi Amechi, and the 2023 Labour Party presidential candidate Mr. Peter Obi, and former Interior Minister Abeni Rufus Areboshola, who sent a representative. Oh, this is a very serious one.
Well, I think this is actually, to me, it might look like other people might see it as a way to tackle recent administration. But I tell you, with these names that are coming together to form an alliance to form this new party to tackle the APC, I think it's a strong one. Having names of Atiku in it, having former general, Attorney General
Rotimi.
Otimi Amechi, having Peter Obi himself alone has a lot of fan base. Just imagine putting Atiku and Peter Obi's fan base together. I tell you, it's going to be a very hard one for the EPC. But Arek Beshola is also in this list also. I tell you, it's actually going to be a very big competition for the APC. Even the APC themselves, I tell you, there are moles in the APC that are not even sure about this second term already. So I tell you, you will see so many backsliding. You will see so many people diverting from APC coming to this party, because if you see the stronghold this party has already, I tell you, it's going to be a very challenging one for the APC. We expect me to me, self, I go for the MPCG already.
Well, I feels like Nigeria right now, the leaders, even though we still feels like Nigerian leaders or those that are standing up to come and lead us are not good enough, that they are all coming for their own benefit. I still feels like we really need to put hold to all those tribals and all that religious aspect, and then just like put in the work together, and then let's build a new Nigerian for ourselves, because right now it's not even a time to pick sides on this is my person or this is my religious leader or whatever it is. We just have to put that aside us, whatever it is, and then let's come together and fight this once and for all. Well, let's move on. June 12th, how Abacha planned to kill me, Abiola Yaradua Obasanjo. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo has explained how he was able to survive what he described as evil plan of former head of state General Sani Abacha to kill him after his arrest, alongside General Shehu Musa Yaradua and business mogul and owner and winner of the June 12, 1993 election, Chief MKO Abiola, attributing his survival to the special grace of God. Obasanjo, who was at Oviro in Abo Abansi, Imo State last weekend to commission the State of Acts um, Assemblies of God Church, christened the Noah Ark, built and donated by a philanthropist and kingdom investor Obioma Success, stated that the then head of state had boasted that three of them would not come out of the prison alive, so he could remain in power perpetually. When I realized that it wasn't a mistake, I was full of prayer, including praying as Stephen prayed, but amended my own prayer somewhat. I said, whether they know what they are doing or they do not know what they are doing, God forgive them. This is something that I don't even know how to say, but I feel like Nigerians, when it comes to taking one out and remain in power, we are really good at it.
No, well, I've been. It's me. I'm not part of the fan that always believe on all words that the politician would say, because I think this period we have is the campaigning period. To me, I see it as a campaigning. We have less than 2 years, if I'm not mistaken. It's a campaigning period for most of these politicians. Anywhere they go to, they will always have a speech concerning campaigning for themselves and making them feel pitied in this aspect. Well, it's not to me it's not a great news. It's not a good news. It's not something good that Sani Abacha actually did. But this is in the past already. Shouldn't be picking up things like this in a church inauguration. I think to me, well, that's his own say.
Yeah, that is his own say. That is what he passed through then in June 19, 12, and then he still wanted to express how it felt like then. Well, on our top story from the Guardian, how weak enforcement of environmental law is killing Lagosians. Despite this cleaning legal framework, enforcement remained a mirage from Sangotedo to Epe and across the state. Heaps of refuge line major road, while enforcement agents walk past it with indifference on many streets. Residents now wait until Thursday, the day Lauma is expected to clean up illegally dumped waste. This dangerous routine has create a system where illegality is anticipated and even scheduled. When Loma officials routinely remove waste from illegal dump sites without investigation or punishing offenders, they effectively participate in crime. By failing to act, they breach Section 10 of the Criminal Code, which make aiding and abetting a punishable offense.
I think it's we are used to it already. I think
Lagosians are
the
used to it
Lagosians
already.
are used to it already. It's one of the days where it was actually on a Saturday before, but things actually changed, and Lagos brought in they brought in a policy of um, um, keep kick against indiscipline. I think that's Sky. I guess. And they brought in this Thursday moment about cleaning your environment, and some people call it woli woli, all those kind of things. I think what Lagos really need now is to look into this waste management, because the way that this waste are actually dumped on the roadside, not even in a particular area where people don't really walk. On the roadside, you will see bus stops. Tell you bus stop where people come down, light enter for their destination. You see dumps of refuse piled up there.
Piled up
I,
everywhere.
almost all the bus stops, and those market people, I think the market users and market those that uses the market also, they should give them this sanction, because most of these waste are from them, because after sweeping their environment, doing anything in their environment, they just go there and dump it. Most of them do this, perpetrate this act in the night when people are not actually seeing them. And I think what Lagos need is actually, if they don't want to, they want to avoid the fact about dumping all this in some bus stop. They should have this big I think there's this big waste dump. Have a particular place where they know, okay, oh, give the information to all the market people that if we keep seeing this kind of thing here, we will sanction this particular section. Make
So
sure
you
you
are
are
dumping
dumping
this
this
refuge
refuge
in
in
a
a
particular
particular
place
place
where
where
that
that
big dump is actually dumped.
There
So
was one that is being provided in Oshodi that it's like I think it's three up to three before the Thursday even come. The whole place is already filled up, and then that place becomes stinking and smelling. Like I can't even say that I'm going down to Lagos now without going with my nose mask, because there's a path that we get to around that from Beggar to that, and then I you have to put on your nose mask because those plumber motors are there, and then that place so stinky. I feel like what Lagos State needs to do right now is that every day cleaning up is going to be much more better, because if they are going to be waiting for it Thursday, Lagos is too populated to say that you wanted to wait every week till Thursday before you start cleaning up. Everybody dump refuse, and then it's going to make the whole place, the whole Lagos is so messed up, and it smell. It's not as if that this one is just it's the truth. And I feel like the Minister of Environmental and Health should take this really serious, and then everyday cleaning up should have, and whoever goes against the law needed to pay a fine or being arrested for it. Well, let's move on. Opposition internal crisis, legal battle threats, 2027 election prospects. Emerging political development has continued to cast doubt on the ability of opposition parties to present a formidable challenge to President Bola Tinubu and the ruling All Progressive Congress (APC) in the 2027 general election. Most major opposition parties, such as the People Democratic Party, Labour Party, New Nigerian People Party, and the Social Democratic Party, are entangled in deep-seated internal crisis and protract legal battle that threaten their cohesion, cohesion, credibility, and electoral readiness. Even the quotation force that once boasted of unseating President Bola Tinubu and the ruling APC now appear uncertain, struggling to agree on a viable political platform. The earlier excitement surrounding the Social Democratic Party, which former Kaduna State Governor Nasiru El-Rufai once hinted could serve as a launchpad for the opposition, is steadily fading, replaced by confusion and a lack of coordination. Wow. The former major opposition parties are currently grappling with internal crisis and legal battling, a development that has triggered a wave of defection to the ruling APC. In some crises, elected officials have chosen to remain within their parties but have openly pledged support for President Tinubu re-election bid in 2027, further weakening the opposition unity and resolve.
we this was stated earlier about the coalition about parties. I think the APC actually still have the stronghold in the 2027 general election, and with the way we are saying things, if things are not really done earlier, we have less than 2 years to actually pull this together, uh,
Exactly.
because the APC are actually strongly having their way into this general election. Well, I expect more from parties like the Labour Party, PDP, the NPP, and other SDP, other parties surrounding this. Because having names, calling out names like Atiku, Labour, Peter Obi, El Rufai, and Rotimi Amechi, I tell you, it's actually a very stronghold to be able to oppose the coming election.
Well, like I said, I feel like Nigeria needs to put aside the what will I call it, the tribals and then religious aspects, and make sure that we both put hands together and do the needful for Nigerians to get better. Well, let's move on. Why fresh concern over failure rates, education decline. Between 2018 and 2024, state government, parents, and guardians spent over 122 billion on West African senior school certificate examination, but the candidate pass rate has been poor. The absence of the facility and structural material depth of the qualified teachers and poor foundation at the primary school level, among others, contributes to the large problem of education decline in Yabo. Lawal reports. Last April, to the chagrin of millions of Nigerians, the Lagos state government announced that 13,596 out of 56,134 students from public secondary school failed the 2024 West African Senior School Certificate Examination. The failure rate made a mockery of the 1.57 billion naira that the state government claimed it spent on enrolling students for the examination, as more than half of the candidates failed the examination despite the investment. Of course, this development has raised serious concern about the quality of education and student preparedness. Hmm.
We actually, if we are to blame the federal government and blaming teachers also, we should also deem in our heart to also blame the student for their preparedness. I think most students are actually they are not actually prepared for most exams like this. They are not actually fully prepared. You can't.
Focusing.
It's not about being focused. You can't say you want to prepare a child or a student that you have not given qualified education to. You go to some public schools, you will see the way things are being done there.
Not enough
The,
teacher.
the school environment is not encouraging.
Hygiene, no.
Their labs is not well equipped. Their facilities they are not. You don't expect a child in that kind of learning. You go to a class, you'll be having more than 100 children in the class, yeah, and we having 60, 70, 80, and 90. Sometimes we having 120 in one class, and you expect them to learn. Out of that 120 people in the class, I tell you, you can't see up to 30 people that are serious. You can't say objectively because most of them you see different barriers, different tribes, different mindsets in the class, and you don't expect them to learn the way. That's why you see most private school having edge over all these kind of exams because the way they are being prepared for it is more different to the way the government schools prepare for it.
Well, when I still talk about our educational sector in Nigeria, it feels like it's really going down because right now this time around when you see teenagers holding phones on their hand and then all they do is just wanted to like go through into the internet and then not actually for the educational purpose but because they wanted to go into the TikTok and all the social media and then be online and that is really kind of concerning. And when you go into the educational sector you see that even the primary school is lacking proper education, the secondary school is lacking, and talk more of the university that all you just have to do is continue from the same writing that you passed through from primary to secondary school and you're still going to do it. It's really not it's not going anywhere at all. The educational sector is Nigeria is not going anywhere. And how long is this going to be continuing? Well, we have come to the end of today's show. Thank you for joining us on the Breakfast Show. I have been your host, Bella. Be sure to join us again tomorrow. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, have a blessed and lovely day. Bye.